I initially found that I had a lump in my neck. Biopsies showed that it was squamous cell carcinoma of the tonsil. Because of the radiation, my teeth failed. To begin with, I was advised to have a feeding tube because I wouldn't be able to swallow. I hated that feeding tube.
Dysphagia impacts so many different people. It could happen as a side effect of being in the hospital for a urinary tract infection. And it could happen to someone who has head and neck cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, ALS, the list goes on.
I lost a lot of weight. I wanted something that I could bite, something that was like real food.
I am a prosthodontist, which is a specialist in reconstruction of the mouth. I was born with an issue where I couldn't chew normally. I knew there was a solution that needed to be had. I started working in my kitchen and I started to make puree meatloaf, and I knew that I really needed food scientists to help me. So I heard about the Food Innovation Center and I went and I visited with them one day, shared the problem that I was trying to solve, and their eyes lit up. It was a new challenge.
Probably the first impression I had of Reva when she came to us, she had this idea and she really had a lot of energy and passion, and that was clear. And my first thought was that this is going to be extremely difficult. And my second thought was, this is the right person to get the job done.
I've been an established prosthodontist for many years, and witnessing people with chewing difficulties was something I focused on day to day. But when I started to realize that a lot of people had issues further downstream with swallowing, and even though I reconstructed them and I made their chewing wonderful, if they couldn't swallow a normal swallow, they weren't using their teeth in a normal way.
For me, in this project, we were in a tasting with a whole group of people, and we had sort of reached this final point where we had formulations that we were proud of and we thought were tasty, and we invited a panel in to help us evaluate them. And some of the people were actually crying because it was the first time they'd had solid food like this in so long. And that was sort of when I realized how impactful these products could be.
I was with a feeding tube for 6 months non-stop, with very little food intake orally. It became not only difficult, it was impossible to get back to normal. There was it's a new normal. It was a new normal for me, and it took quite a while to get used to it.
Ernie's feedback was great. I mean, I remember I was proud of these dips and I was ready to share them with people, and it comes around to him to give feedback and he just sort of goes, "This is not black bean dip. This doesn't taste good. This isn't anything like the black bean dip I make at home." And I was like, okay.
I was very grateful to be able to participate in that and provide my input.
What happens when the surgeons are done? What happens when they're no longer going to that clinic every week? How can we support them as a society to bring back more quality of life and try to deal with some of those side effects in a more innovative way?
As we age, we think that millennials are really hip and trendy and into health and wellness and into healthy food items and functional foods, but at the same time we have an aging population who's so much more aware of their health and their wellness, and so there's a shared interest there. One of the benefits of doing this project at Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center is that we were able to use our skill and expertise not only in the formulation development, but also at our facility. We conducted the first oral dissolution study for this type of food product. We wanted to understand the dissolve rate of these products in a person's mouth.
they loved the melt in the mouth thing. I don't know how else to say it, but that's actually what came up a lot of times. Wow, it's so incredible, it just melts in my mouth. I don't even have to chew it. The bottom line that we really took from that study is that people want choice. And that's one of the hardest things about dysphagia, especially an individual that has severe enough dysphagia that their diet is restricted. And so a speech language pathologist or a doctor tells them, these are foods that you cannot eat. It dramatically reduces what's available to them.
I mean, a lot of the snacks and food items that were available and actually could be safely consumed by someone with dysphagia were sweet. And so part of our challenge was to take some of these savory food applications and include vegetables and include real foods and healthy fats and try to really deliver high quality, nutrient dense snacks that still touched on all of those sort of savory cravings.
We heard about the product and we've been working all year to get it in our clinic. I'm a registered nurse and I have worked for many years with ALS patients. Two top priorities include safety and quality of life. And so if we can get a product that's a safe transitional food that tastes like real food, what I really want to say is it tastes like real food because it's made of real food. The supplements, they meet a need, but they're sweet and they're thick, and you can only disguise them so many ways. You can put them in milkshakes, you can put them in smoothies, and they still taste the same.
The challenge was, this was a niche market. This was a specific need that needed to be met. FIC was open to having table discussions and having people get together and discuss the product as it was being innovated, iteration after iteration. They embraced knowledge coming from registered dietitians, speech and language pathologists, geriatricians, people with head and neck cancer and dysphagia, all together, one room, innovating.